Good evening, everyone. I am Daryl D'Souza from Earthkeepers Connect, Goa, your host for this evening, the fifth day of the pre-summit webinars leading up to the New Earth Summit in November. That is India's first integrative summit on solutions to our problems in health, food, farming, and environment. I extend a warm thanks uh, as the summit convener and also on behalf of members of our 10 Earthkeeper groups in India and overseas to our esteemed panelists for this evening. And we express our gratitude to you for taking out your time from your busy schedules to be with us and to share your wisdom so that all watching this webinar and the later recorded video may live healthier lives. Our topic for this evening is healing with energy medicine. So I will start with introducing our panelist to the audience. Sreevidhya. She is a deeply compassionate and sensitive claircognizant, a mystic healer who believes in a result-oriented holistic approach. She practices several healing modalities such as tarot, bark flower remedies, intuitive crystal healing, gemstone healing, past life regression, Reiki, quantum activation, DNA healing, and anatomy healing. She's also a psychic reader, psychic life coach, occult expert, and astro numero vastu expert. Apart from all of this, Sreevidhya is also a dealer of natural precious high gemstones, crystals, and exclusive spiritual products. Our next panelist, Bhawana Dahiya, is the founder and owner of the Tarot Inc. by Bhawana brand. She is a trained psychotherapist, past life regression master, and energy worker. Bhavana holds an MBA in human resources and is trained in NLP, tarot, EFT, transactional analysis, and pranic healing. Bhavana's journey into spiritual sciences and energy medicine began 23 years ago when she experienced a deep spiritual crisis and discovered Paramhansa Yogananda ji. She has been working ever since with intuitive sciences and perfecting our own meditation and breathwork techniques. An HR professional, Bhavana worked in various startups and consulting firms for over 18 years. Her mission is to make intuitive sciences and mainstream and conscious breathwork a habit. Our next panelist, Aswathy Sreekumar, were presented last year. Her life experiences in curing diseases and strong belief in the human body's power to heal itself without the use of drugs inspired her to take the path of healing as a profession. Aswathy holds a bachelor's degree in alternative medicine. She is a pranic healer as well as specializes in holistic allergy elimination technique. She believes her life purpose is to contribute towards ushering a new paradigm of holistic health and well-being. Dr.Denise Rodrigues is a dedicated homeopath, pediatric nutritionist, and a budding counselor. Having graduated with a BHMS degree from Goa University as a gold medalist, she went to acquire training in Mumbai before beginning her own venture, Evolve Homeopathic Clinic at Raya, South Goa. Believing that every individual has their own innate, unique capacity to heal and evolve into the best version of themselves, Dr. Denise continues her knowledge of homeopathy, mind-body healing, psychology, and nutrition as she facilitates the successful healing of her clients holistically. She firmly believes that a peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Being aware of oneself and treating your illness as your friend is the philosophy she works on. So now we will begin with 3 rounds of questions for our panelists that will conclude in 1 hour. so that we can keep the next hour for Q&A with the audience. For those in our audience who would like to receive the recorded version of this webinar, please visit earthkeepersconnect.org and subscribe to its notifications. You will get those notifications and news from our mobile news app. Our audience need not wait for the 1 hour to complete to type in their questions in the Q&A. Okay, so after each panelist speaks, if you have a question on that, you can type it in the Q&A and we will take it up after 1 hour. So here is our first question for the panelists. Can you explain how the healing modalities that you use represent energy medicine and what kind of problems do they heal? So I would ask Bhawana to please comment on that.
So I think it's a very important question that all of us have and we always ask. So I would say that first of all, if we look around all around us, so even people who are watching us or who would watch later, if we just look around us in the room, we might maybe we'll, and the air that we breathe, everything is energy. Whether that is air that we are breathing or the water that we drink, both of them are, without that we won't be able to live. So that itself is energy, and which is a air form and a liquid form of energy. And of course our body is a solid form of energy. So everything around us really comprises of energy. When we look at this the physical part, the physiology and the biological part of it. So at a subatomic level and atomic level, everything is energy. It just depends on whether how it is vibrating. And without getting too much into science, because of course this is not in a science webinar, but I wanted to throw light on that, because what we learned in school, we kind of forget as we are growing up. And so if everything is energy, whatever we are doing when we are working with the subconscious mind, because the work that I do and the modalities that I use, I work with the subconscious mind and work, because that's where the changes take place. And even before we can heal the body, if in my mind I do not believe I can be healed, it doesn't matter what medicine I take, it doesn't matter how great a doctor I have, or what hospitals I'm visiting, or physiotherapists that I'm working with, or psychotherapists, it will not matter. So it really is important, how am I looking at, if I'm taking the medicine. Some people would have heard of placebo effect, and some people may agree with it or disagree with it. But the fact of the matter is, unless I believe, first of all, I want to be healed, and second, I believe I can be healed by whatever I'm taking or the psychotherapy I'm working with, whether it is past life regression therapy, whether it is pranic healing or other energy work that we do, or even meditation and breath work, it won't happen. And I've had amazing, and I'm sure many of the panelists will also talk about this, but I've had people who had Crohn's disease, who had major digestive issues, who have been healed through the process. Of course, it took some time for them to make that happen. And I think the number of depression cases, the number of people who are dealing with anxiety, there's so many success cases that are there. So energy is the root of everything, and that's where it all starts. And that's why I think all of us work at that level, at the root level, rather than just putting a band-aid on something. So that's just a quick answer, and of course we'll talk about that more.
Thank you, Bhavana. Yes, I would like to ask Sreevidhya now. Could you please comment on how your modalities, this question is also, for the deeper understanding of our audience. Many people do not understand the meaning of energy medicine. So if you could throw some light on that.
Um, First of all, thank you for this wonderful platform. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, very
Okay.
clear.
Now, energy medicine, the moment we talk about energy is, I started believing like when it was like, I was very young, there was a problem like anything that would be not functioning right. We understand that these things suddenly after a moment, after a certain time, if you just work with an intent, the things change. Energy is like, we call, there are emotions in people that we work with. So energy in motion is actually an emotion. And the medicines, the energy work that I do is I work on a psychic, basically I do a lot of psychic reading, and I connect to them on that space wherein where the problem is arising from. It's not only about astrology or numerology, but I work with frequency. When you work with a frequency, and when you're working on a with a person on a psychic level, we understand that this person is bringing in some patterns from uh, from either his this birth trail. I mean, people who believe in PLR could connect to this, and even if you don't believe in PLR, it's okay. But the soul has some traces and um, some some patterns, which we are actually not ready to let go. So diseases, then your emotional imbalance, relationship issues, even to that extent, like money also is connected to the energy that you are working with. So probably there are a lot of energy blocks in our whole system. So we can either work with the simple techniques that is already available, but people don't know how to inculcate that in their daily life. So what we do is, when I do a reading with a person, I understand the pattern, from which age is it coming from. Is it coming from this lifetime, or is it coming from another lifetime? So there is when we tap into the energy, the cosmic consciousness, and we understand that, okay, this particular issue is coming from a, a lifetime, or this age group, or when you're between a particular age, why is that person feeling, or why is that person facing such kind of issue. So energy, when you talk about energy, a human form, when we are in this form, actually we're all energy. Even at times you can even repair your gadgets with frequency, with a shift in your frequency. So everything is energy, and energy medicine, I would want to elaborate it later, but right now I think this is what I would want to say, that everything is energy, and you can heal to a lot of, I mean, you can heal a lot of things. And actually, it's not we heal, we create a space for you wherein we experience a space which is not right now. If the person is having a relationship issue, if I'm doing a healing for the person, I would create a space between me and the person in such a way that I experience the feeling that the person would want to actually feel at that moment. And so we just create a space of healing at that. So that's like with energy. I hope I'm able to explain. It's a little
Yes,
complicatedly
yes.
simple, but that's
Yes,
how
so
it
I'll
is.
just put in some words there. Yeah, from what I understood from what you said is that you create a space of connection, compassion, empathy, and through that, that emotional bonding, then you are able to pick up what the client is going through. And so, because you have this talent and you've developed it for a very long time, you pick up much finer things than what the person consciously knows themselves. Yes.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing in those vocabularies.
Yes, thank you. And I would also like to give a little, scientific angle to it for those people who have read my book, Become Healthy or Extinct. There's a chapter called Metaphysics of the Human Body, where I share different frequencies of light and sound and matter that are within the human body. So when our energy healers today are speaking about, everything is energy, you just imagine at that, there's a energy is then so many forms at a very high level of visibility of frequency. When it's at terahertz, we see it as light. Okay, when it's at hertz or kilohertz, we hear it as sound. So you can imagine energy is can take many forms from a high frequency, and it starts dropping down frequency, and then as it drops down frequency so much, it starts becoming matter, like something solid. So in that frame of mind, yes, everything is a range of energy, and healers have a special capability of tapping into energy, whether it's finer or heavier, and doing the healing in that space. So I open up the question to Dr. Denise, and yes, could you please share how you do it with homeopathy? I know, I was treated with homeopathy when I was 12 years old, and it was for 2-day chronic migraines. And I saw the profile. The doctors take an emotional profile also of the patient. So obviously, you're dealing with the energy body, with the emotions. So please share with us some deeper insights on that.
Okay, thanks, Daryl, for giving me this platform, first of all. So, I would like to begin about how a homeopath sees an individual as forms of energy, which was so beautifully put by a panelist before. Now, homeopathy treats the patient as a whole and as an individual with the emotions and everything. And it is a common belief that when long-standing illnesses do not get better with other modalities of treatment, run to a homeopath. That's the common belief which everybody has. So why run to a homeopath? Because they treat illnesses from the root cause. So putting this root cause in the form of energy, I will try to explain what I've understood. So homeopaths understand the whole being from the point of view of energy and its disturbances. Like it said, energy is linked to motion, and that induces a change of state. And this change of state is not only at the physical level, but it is also at the mental and emotional level, and also in deeper levels of consciousness. And in a human being, this energy is expressed in the mind and body. Now, in the mind, we have perceptions, we have emotions, and we have the subconscious as well. In the subconscious, this energy is expressed through dreams, which is very important. As Daryl must have said, okay, emotions, and we have that profile. For us, dreams are a very important factor. And why dreams are an important factor? Because this is a form of energy that is being expressed through dreams. Then perceptions. Energy is also expressed through the way we perceive things and the delusions we have. When it comes to emotions, definitely energy is connected to the emotions by what we feel. I will give you a simple example over here. Imagine you're hearing a person playing a guitar or playing a violin, okay? And we hear that particular sound in a particular frequency or a particular wavelength. That is also energy, sound energy. And when we hear that particular tune, sometimes it brings among in us, is some emotion. Either it can elicit a very happy emotion, or either it can elicit a sad emotion. And that frequency which is bringing about that emotion which is expressed, is also a form of energy. Now, in the body, energy is expressed through signs and symptoms. That is what our illnesses are, and definitely through our sleep and thirst as well. But although we can think about mind and body as two different forms of energy, are they really different? I don't think that mind and body is really disconnected. There is a connection between them, and that is the spirit. And why does this energy get disturbed? So basically in homeopathy, we believe that when this energy is disturbed in a human being, and when it's not in a harmonious flow, what we get is an alteration of perception, alteration of sensations, and alteration of feelings, which give rise to inappropriate reactions. This causes illness or disease as we know it. And but disease is not a local affection of parts, but a being of the whole person. And as the introduction said, that I believe disease is a friend, and awareness can bring about cure. So basically, when you're aware of this disordered energy in your being, when you can see that you are seeing through a different lens or through an altered perception, a homeopathic remedy is given to bring about that shift in energy, to align it in the right manner. And very beautifully, one of the panelists spoke about vibration. So everything in the universe vibrates, right? We have the sun energy, we have the moon energy, we have even stone, we have even rock. And I'm saying this because we have remedies made from Berlin Wall, Great Wall of China, Rock of Gibraltar, and all these places as well. So that is basically on the energy of that place. So a human being's sensations, perceptions, feelings, and the change in energy vibrates at a different level when it is diseased. and that disease pattern, that disease vibration is matched to something which is vibrating at a similar frequency in nature, and a remedy is given in that manner to bring about a change. I hope I made some sense over here, because if there are any questions, you all can ask me in it. A lot of my students, when I used to teach, they're like, really, a remedy is made out of Great Wall of China? Well, yes, actually, that is because of the energy of that place. And you are taking the whole entire case history and that emotional profile to understand that manifestation of the vibration and change in frequency and energy pattern which is coming up an individual, matching that to something in the universe to bring about a cure. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Denise. That is very interesting insight, and I'm sure it was new for some people to understand that homeopathy works in that way too. Yes, Aswathy, could you please, tell us?
So the system which I'm practicing, it's called NAET, that is number 3 parts allergy elimination technique. So it is an energy balancing procedure. So it uses different energy modalities like kinesiology, chiropractic, and traditional Chinese medicine and nutrition. So we use this technical kinesiology, or also called neuromuscular sensitivity test, to read the subconscious mind. So whatever problems we are going through right now, whether it is a physical illness or emotional problem, the solution to it and how we got it, it's there in the subconscious mind. So we find out like how did you get the pain, or how you got stomach upset, or whatever problem you have, how did you get it. So the problems treated with NAT are, the main thing is allergies. So allergies and food sensitivities, food intolerances, IgE mediated and non-IgE mediated allergies. So again, in this, we use the electromagnetic field of everything. So even an emotion, it has got a frequency, it has got a frequency, and things around us, even each one of us have got a frequency. So it says like when two frequencies come together, and two people, or when we eat a food, each food we eat has got a frequency. So when they come together, if there's a destructive interference, then it will make a block in your body, and that will result in some blockages in our energy system. Like in traditional Chinese medicine, there are meridian systems. So if that particular frequency is making up energy imbalance in our body, it will make a block in any one of the meridian. So accordingly, we'll have to get the symptoms. So in NAT, when a patient comes with some symptoms, we find out what is the root cause of it. Whether that symptom is caused by a food that person has eaten, or whether it's an emotion, or it's anything in the environment. So we use the homeopathic vials. We have homeopathic vials to find out the cause. So we check with the food items, or we check with different emotions, and find out where the patient has a block, whether it's in a lung meridian or it's in different meridians are there associated with their organs. So first we find out the cause, what is causing that symptom, and then we find out where it is caused, which meridian, and also at what levels, whether it is just the physical level, or the physiological level, or the emotional level. That is the deepest level that can affect a person. So first finding the cause and using the same. So here it has a similarity with homeopathy. What caused the problem? We're treating with the same item, the energy of the same item that caused the problem. Suppose the person ate a fruit, banana or something, and that person got a stomach pain. So we use the energy of banana to treat or to reverse that imbalance. So we use the homeopathic vials. Either we can use the homeopathic vials for the convenience, or we can use that item itself. And we have backlog remedy vials also to to find out the emotional blockages and treat. Yeah, this is what the system is.
Thank you for that explanation. I've seen your work at our center also, and it's a wonderful combination of very effective therapies. And now I would, like to get to the second question, which was, a little more detailed. So, could our panelists, give some example, maybe your own client example? You don't need to give names if you don't want to, of how in your system generally, a diagnosis happens, then a treatment, and how it goes towards resolving, health problems or even psychosomatic disorders. Uh, Bhavana, could you please start?
Sure. In my case, what I do is I don't necessarily focus on the modality, but what the issue of the person is. Because, of course, the most important thing is if somebody has come to you or come to me, the person wants to be healed. That is the assumption that I make. That's the first assumption that I make. But of course, there's a consultation to understand how ready the person is. What is it that the person is looking at, and what exactly is so there is an initial discussion about what are they looking for, and if the person is ready. Sometimes the person wants to be ready, but the person might not be, for whatever reason, may not be ready in the mind. And it's very important, the work that I do, that the person is coming with that mindset. Like I mentioned earlier, the person is coming with the mindset that yes, I am ready to trust not the physiotherapist. So it's not about me. I always tell them the medicine that I give you, which is energy medicine, will work if you believe that you are the one who's doing the work, because the person is doing the work. I'm a facilitator, I can help them, I can guide them, but they are the ones who have the power. And those of you who have read Daryl's book will understand completely what I'm talking about, because that talks about so many aspects, right? And so I want to share two examples. One example is the person who had, so when she had come to me, she had Crohn's disease. So Crohn's disease is a major issue with the digestive tract. She also had depression. She had been taking medicine for depression for many years. She also had she had skin issues, rashes, and she had to, that when she came to me, she was going every, I think it was 4 weeks or 6 weeks, she had to go to the hospital for her Crohn's disease treatment. And so of course she was willing and she was ready to look at aspects. It took us about 5 sessions. The immediate effect was there. So after every session was quite intense. Usually each session is about 60 minutes to 90 minutes, but in her case it was longer because I had to work with that. So with her, the different modalities that I used were, it was inner child healing, it was womb healing, which is going to the time of the birth of the person, and the person experiencing what is it that, because when the baby is born, it is not just the energy of how the mother is feeling, it is also how the father is feeling about the birth. Are the parents really ready for the child to be born? And then people who are around, people who are nursing or helping the birthing process, how are they feeling, and immediately for just couple of weeks before and after the birth, so the entire experience of it. And there was also past life regression therapy, and plus of course there were other remedies. It was chakra healing, crystals, and hers was a very intense case, so of course I had to work on use multiple modalities. Immediately, of course, because she was willing, she did have a lot of release, which means that she could let out a lot of her emotions. So the first 2 sessions were really about letting out a lot of emotions, a lot of hurt, memories from her childhood, memories from some of her relationships from earlier lifetimes, and all of that really coming out. And once she was able to do that, I think after the first session itself, the skin issue started settling up. She didn't have skin rashes and this is so we had weekly sessions, so that was gone. And by the third session, she in fact started elongating her. So earlier, if she had to go to the hospital for treatment every 6 weeks, she kind of stretched it to 10 weeks and 12 weeks. And now it's been about 7-8 months. She has in fact, she had stopped taking her depression medicine because she didn't feel like it. There were withdrawal symptoms because your body is used to a chemical reaction when you take depression medicine. So she stopped taking the depression medicine after the third treatment session that we had, and her Crohn's disease, I think after 4 sessions, it has been, by fifth, it was reversed. So she is able to eat what she wants. And of course, naturally, what has also happened, she has, earlier she couldn't eat certain things because her body couldn't take it. Now she doesn't feel the need to do that. She is more, the way that she treats her body, the way that she treats herself, and the people around her, entire circle has changed. And along with that, people talk about the law of abundance. And because abundance is also vibrating, is a vibration, right? And there are so many people I've also worked with for the money part of it or abundance part of it. But if we have time, I'll talk about that. But what I wanted to mention is, though we were treating her symptoms of the Crohn's disease because that was the most critical for her, her relationships changed. The way she shifted into a new home which she never thought possible. She got a new job which just landed in her lap literally, and she has been able to buy a car as well. So I mean, there's this entire change that happens not just in your physical body, because I'm working with the subconscious mind. When, especially with the person who's ready, it happens very quickly and it happens at multiple levels. And of course, with different people, it might take, maybe it might even be faster, some of it might take longer, and some of it might just start changing very quickly. So
Yes.
that
Bhavna, now I'll have to get on to the next speaker. So it was a very good example, and at least from what you've explained, so kind of inner transformation and whole personality and self empowerment kind of transformation happened for your client, and that's wonderful. So thank you for that example. Now I would like to ask Sreevidhya, any example, Sreevidhya, of your own
Yes.
client?
Actually, I would want to second what Dr. Bhavna just said, because what happened is, like, I have been working with a lot of celebrities also. Not to take names, but yes, they come up with I have specifically like a quite famous personality. She had come into me for a relationship issue. She was in a very deep abusive relationship issue. Then when we dived into the whole case, it was like it was not only from this space that she was actually operating from. Definitely, it came from the inner child also. We had to recode the whole pattern that she was operating from. And she also had, apart from all these relationship issues, there was another issue which was connected when every time she would settle for a lesser amount of the budget or whatever they come in for the money thing, that she would always settle for a lesser amount that she would actually want to have, but she would settle for a lesser amount. Also, she had come for relationship blockages, relationship issues, but here there was a lot of interconnection between her mother-father relationship that she had. Then the relationship that she was in was quite abusive. So we had to heal that part. From there, we dived into the father, the relationship that she had with her father. So she was actually attracting similar people in her life, be it a producer or be it a director or be it whoever. She had a major authority problem, and here she would also, land. I mean, it would be like every 2 or 3 months. She had given us a full report that she would land up into a meeting with a small accident. She had this very big fear of authority, and she could not handle that. So this was also coming from that space of being controlled. And then this again had created a gynec issue for her. She had a lower spine issue also, but she was working like almost 18 hours on the sets, and she would again come back, and it was like she was under this impression that she's living dual life. So we had to come up with remedies and processes wherein we had to actually tell her, create this space for her wherein we could heal, right? I mean, things from the past and from this present space that she was working in. Now she is, she is like, it almost, but it took us almost about, say, 6 to 8 months to get the whole thing aligned. There was a lot of gynec issues also she had, cultivated because of this. She had a pattern, of the pattern was like, I have to give something to get something. And this had created a lot of, to get the pattern, to identify the pattern, we had to dive deep into her space. And now it's like, I think recently, about 2 months back, she got a flat for herself. That's 5 crores. She's in a perfect, brilliant, amazing relationship that she wanted always. So, but yes, it was not immediate. But here I will tell you another case. I mean, if I have time, it's
Okay.
not that the result that you want is always the way that you want it. The problem here is when a person comes to a healer, the person thinks like, I have come here and now tomorrow morning everything is going to be like, I just rub the lamp and the jinn is going to come out and things are going to be fine. No, there are times that you have to go through the dark night of the soul. It happens. You have to face the things which you have been resisting for a long time. And such things come in, sometimes they come in very fast. So the person thinks, I came to a healer and this is happening and, I'm not ready for this. You tend to start thinking that the healer has come, so everything will be fixed. We are not here to fix your things. We are here to help you to create the space and the whole energy level wherein you can see it from an eagle's point of view. It's not like ye jo ho raha hai, this is happening because of some karmic problems. No, it's all created and it's all your patterns that we have to decode and recode them.
Thank you. Thank you. Very well put and a deeper understanding also. Dr. Denise, would you like to mention any special case that, in your mind, which was a difficult case and you had to use all your techniques to kind of fix them?
Yeah, I will just highlight in short, maybe around 3 cases, deep pathology cases. So one of the first case which came to me was a lady who had PCOD problem, which is pretty common in girls today. There was depression, there was blood pressure issues and other multiple issues as well. So when we did the whole 2.5 hour session that I do by giving them the space to kind of facilitate their understanding, what I understood is there were a lot of ways in which she perceived certain situations. Now, she is an extremely well-to-do person and holding a really good post, but she always had the delusion that I'm poor and that I don't have money. And that was a delusion on which I worked upon, that poor and not having money. Because that was a very characteristic thing which not only came up in her dreams, she used to keep getting dreams of missing a flight or missing something, but it came up in day-to-day aspects as well, that I'm not having enough and I am not enough. So just collecting all these aspects from the dreams, from the fears, from the emotions, I gave her a remedy which was like a really good case, which literally changed her perception. And not only changed her perception, she was never on BP medication after that. Many of the doctors told her, she would need some form of psychiatric medication to sleep, but she improved well just taking her remedy in the 1M potency. So all those issues got sorted. And fast forward 4 years down the line, she just called me the other day to tell that, I managed to send my daughter out to study. And I did it all on my own. Earlier, that feeling of not having money, which was there, is no longer there because I have enough. Actually, that was just a delusion. But over a period of time, it completely got reversed. Definitely, the PCOS improved. She got her periods on time. The hormonal factors also improved. So there was not only a mental and emotional change which was seen, but also a physical change which came up. Another case which I've been treating was a very old patient who had lichen planus. So very characteristic. Again, I go a lot on the dreams and emotions which come up. A very characteristic thing came up where she felt blocked everywhere, where everything was, she was coming from a space of suffocation for her, be it the illness which was perceived in that manner, or be with the whole dreams which came up where she had this fear of narrow spaces. Again, giving her remedy changed her perception. The lichen planus is gone. And definitely any small issue comes up, even a common cold which comes up, or even a sinus headache which comes up, gets cured with that one single remedy itself. I don't have to change it. So it's all based on that delusion which he had of being stuck in narrow places. So be it any, be it skin, be it women's issues, be it cancers, homeopathy has a helping hand. The third case I'll just highlight in short was a woman, 4 years ago, she came with ovarian cancer, which had metastasized literally everywhere, the doctor giving her just 4 months to live. So again, I went to understanding the delusion. It was not a deep level delusion case, but what I gathered from that she just didn't know about herself, or there was no understanding. That itself led me to a remedy which definitely lowered her CA125 levels, brought about a change in the CEA levels, and there was a point of time I told her to stop oral chemo. It was that good improvement, because again, I'm working on the dreams, the fears, and the personality. Some months ago, just because of an emotional shift in the energy, her CA125 levels shot up again, and we are kind of working on bringing that back to normal again, understanding what was the shift in energy which happened at that point of time. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Denise. Aswathy, could you please share your experience with patients, maybe a case that, yeah, where you had to use your techniques in a very combined way to get, healing?
So as my system, it treats allergy. So I'll just give a small explanation about that. So allergy, when we say it is, we think it's just like itching or runny nose. No, but actually allergy is beyond that. So an allergy can cause emotion problems also. So there are different types of allergens, from ingestions, conductants, emotion stressors, physical agents. Anything in the world can cause an allergy. And it is not just itching or runny nose or something that is an allergic reaction. Even depression and any disease that we can talk about out of an allergy. So when we get a disease, you don't first go and see whether it's out of allergy or not. But most of every illness, there will be some underlying cause can be an allergy. So I'll give an example of one person. He was having a back pain for about 1 year. So he didn't have any other issues. So I used this technique called kinesiology in this system, and I read his subconscious mind, and I got his emotion hiding. So I just asked him is there something that you're hiding for years or something? Then he said he was hiding something from his family and others, some secret. So it is from the moment he started hiding things, he got this back pain. And so I treated him for this hiding, and from next day onwards, usually it was difficult for me to for him to get up in the morning, stiff back and all. So from the next day, I released that emotion. The next day, he didn't have difficulty in getting up from the bed and all those things. So this is one emotion that caused him the back pain. And one more case is the lady, she had cancer. So she had taken chemotherapy for about 3 years. And when I met her, it was difficult for her to take food. Every food she ate, she was vomiting. She was not going out of her bedroom. So she was on the bed. So I treated her for some food sensitivities. So this lady, she had problems with her husband. She had emotional problems, and also I cleared any emotional problems, food sensitivities, and all. And actually, what happened? She could take more food. She stopped vomiting, and she started driving. She started going out, and I'm not in Goa now, but still she contacts me and she wants me to come back. She felt better. She could take more food, through which she could get more nutrients and all those things. And then again, more of the cases I've done, like lemon allergy, rice allergy, brown rice allergy. People couldn't eat brown rice for years. They got hives, really anaphylaxis after taking rice. So that was treated, and she started taking food. It is like in the system, we can treat the allergies, and they don't have to avoid the food item forever. They can, after treating, they can start taking the food without any reactions. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Thank you. Thank you for those examples. Now, before getting on to Q&A, very quickly, if each panelist, a lot of people in the Q&A are asking for contact details. So I would like each panelist to please mention, how our viewers can get in touch with you, or if you have a website or it's email, whichever format, people can get in touch with you and, take the benefit of your services. Bhavana, could you please start on this?
Sure. So you can definitely reach me on my social media, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, which is Tarotting by Bhavna. And I'll just type that again. And if you are looking for specific consultation, you can email me or call me. I'll just share that as well in the chat box.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Bhavna. Uh, Sreevidhya, could you please tell the audience? Yes, you have shared it in the chat
Yeah,
box. I can see that, but
I
yes.
have tried that, but it was not going in. So yes, you can connect to me on www.ppurepureenergy.com and follow. You can follow my Facebook channel, Facebook page, that is Facebook/Sreevidhya1. And there are many like many videos that I have actually given on simple remedies. So you can follow the YouTube channel. I'll try and put this chat again, but it's something is happening. It's not going, I think, because
Oh,
of the
I can see
network.
it. I can see it in the chat box, your entire contact details. So I think that is work. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Denise, how would you like people? Yeah, Dr. Denise is in Goa, right?
Yeah.
How would you like people to? Is it only people in Goa who you treat, or you treat in other cities too?
I treat them from other cities as well via online consultations. So I will put in my website details. That's www.evolvehomeopathy, evolvehomeopathy.com, and also on Facebook Evolve Homeopathic Clinic. So I'll put that all in the chat box and people can see that.
Okay, thank you. Aswathy, could you please share with the audience how they can get in touch with you?
They can email me get Ashwathy ASWATHY 93 at gmail.com.
Okay, okay, thank you. So now I've got a few questions from the audience, so I will put them to the panel, and any panelist who would like to answer can answer it. Even more than one panelist can answer, that's absolutely fine. So we have a question from Bhavna. She asks, does fibromyalgia work? Or I think she's trying to say, does fibromyalgia get cured with energy healing or any of the modalities that you all have spoken about? Any panelist who has had experience with this, please? Fibromyalgia.
When I worked in a clinic in Belgium, I've seen one patient getting cured. Like, so if we find the cause of it, why that person got it, like, then definitely after finding the cause, it can be cured. I mean, if it is some food sensitivities or the person is not properly absorbing, we have to find it differs from person to person. So maybe the reason I have will be different from other person. So we have to see whether what is the cause of that disease for that person, whether it's an emotion or any food related things. So we have to find the cause, and definitely I've seen cases getting cured in NAT.
So when you say find the cause in your system, what does that mean?
We use this technique called kinesiology and also muscle testing, and also we use lab works like allergy test and other blood tests also. So in this we find out, so we have this 9 categories of allergens: ingestants, contactants, infectants, and physical agents and emotional stressors. So we find out what are the causes that person got that disease. Any food involvement is there, any emotional factors involved, or any environmental factors like the climate, the temperature, all these things. All these things we have to find out, and then treating with that, like clearing that emotional blockage.
Okay.
All this.
Okay, thank you. Any other panelist who has worked with a fibromyalgia patient?
So I'll just talk about not fibromyalgia, but something related, which was rheumatism or rheumatism arthritis. Some people feel that or experience that at a young age, and also a particular person, though it was not diagnosed at fibromyalgia, but had a lot of muscular issues, and for many years. And so in both cases, I had used different modalities, a combination of different modalities. The person who had rheumatoid arthritis, it helped to reduce the inflammation when the flare-ups would happen, and also the intensity of it and the frequency of it. So that has reduced to quite an extent. And this particular person, there was the sessions and there was resistance for the person to accept that it would work. So it did take some time, but then we also combined with some bark flower remedies. And so for the person to be able to feel some immediate results. But yes, the flame ups and the flare ups had definitely reduced. The person had mentioned that. In the case of where the person had a lot of muscular issues or pains that would happen in different parts, and had not really gone to get it checked properly. So that also the person was able to have better movement and lead a better life, really, because it stops your usual life, and you start ending up having depression and questioning a lot of other things, and anger issues come up. So all of that also reduced, and the person, it is much more in control. That particular patient is continuing, so I'll share the results perhaps in a couple of weeks' time.
Okay, thank you, Bhavna. Um, uh, Before going to the next question, I would like to mention that uh, I had a patient. I've treated many patients of fibromyalgia, and they've all had good results. But of course, I use an integrated protocol which has got to do with diet and nutrition. It uses energy healing in the form of acupressure, okay, and organ cleanses and all. And in one of my batches in Delhi, a lady who had full blown fibromyalgia, and she was on a dozen medications, was able to drop them after she attended my workshop. It was a 1 day full day intensive workshop where I explained all these things. She followed all the acupressure and the cleanses and changed the diet. And within 1 month, I was shocked that she dropped all the 12 medications. So yes, so I'm also seeing that energy in the physical form also is doing a lot of work for people, and it seems that fibromyalgia has got to do a lot with the physical body and with food and cleansing the body too. So the next question is from Sanam Mirpura. She knows two people who are seeking help, and one is for lupus pigmentosus, another for body dysmorphia. If he says, if any of the panelists have cured similar conditions, could you please comment on it? Any of the panelists?
I had a case of lupus pigmentosus, so definitely it was pretty severe actually. But again, I tried taking the case history and the observations when I went to the client's place and try to understand the dreams, fears, and the emotions. And at least, the symptoms associated with it got under control. So this is a case which happens even in autoimmune diseases or autoimmune disorders where it requires a person to be on steroids. We bring the symptoms under control and making the person less dependent on other medication. Yes.
Okay. So there is some degree of improvement, and very good.
Yes.
Okay, here is from an anonymous person, not given their names. That is to Dr. Denise. I think because you mentioned about dreams, the person says, I get dreams of drowning in water or others drowning in water. Can you explain in brief what it could mean? I also have never been able to learn swimming and get suffocated underwater. Okay, after Dr. Denise, I'm sure this question is open to other panelists too, because many of the energy healers have people with all sorts of, phobia. Somebody doesn't want to be left in a closed room. Somebody doesn't want water poured on their head. But Dr. Denise first, please, could you help, please?
All right. So basically in homeopathy, we don't interpret dreams as such, but we try to see that that dream which is thrown up, what is your feeling in the dream? So you said, okay, there is a fear of drowning, or even the suffocation which you mentioned. So that fear will be taken from care of from a root cause, from the root. So basically, if the right remedy is given to you, that fears and those dreams will not come. You will get more positive dreams. Like one of the cases which I mentioned in this session was one of the patients kept getting dreams of closed spaces. Ironically, 3 months later, she came up with dreams of seeing fields and no longer closed spaces, and she was quite happy rather than being scared. So that is a shift of energy rather than interpreting what they mean. That's not my expertise, but generally, what you experience and what you feel can be taken care of and shifted in a positive way.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Denise. Sreevidhya, would you like to comment on this? I am sure you would have had.
About, yes, I have had many cases of about this drowning thing, where they have dreams about, exactly like, the person is like in suddenly in between water. And then I have worked on these cases. This comes from a space where the person has a deep emotional setback between the age of, I mean, that is what I have actually got in these cases. So most of the analysis that we've done is between the age of 3 to 8. There is this impact which happens to this. I mean, these kind of cases, the impacts have been here in this age group only. I have had all these 7 cases, similar issues of this kind of dream, and this has happened only between this age when we have checked in with them. So this is how I think we have worked on them going to that space of their energy and clearing and cleansing the whole process space, and then getting them out of that and replacing a belief system.
Okay, so it has been linked to some trauma that they experienced.
Yes,
In those.
experience between that age, and it's also connected to one or two. I mean, one or two more emotions which I do not want to disclose here.
Oh,
It's a public platform.
okay, okay. So deeper issues there too. Yes, Bhavna, would you like to comment?
Yes, so I think this is actually very common. Some of you may not know about it, but it's a very common phobia about water, about drowning. A lot of people experience that or have experienced it. In the cases that I have come across, it has been, and I want to also kind of include choking in it, because sometimes drowning is also choking something around the throat. And so it has been maybe in a previous lifetime where they were either drowned or they were pushed underwater, and they developed issues. In fact, some people who have dreams, or some people who might have issues with water, or some people, in fact, there was somebody who couldn't who had issues with digesting water at times when they would be at extreme anxiety. So we had to work with that. So there are a lot of examples around this. And in fact, my own personal example, I had, this is past life regression therapy that I'm talking about specifically. So I had experienced multiple, about 3 lifetimes, where either I was hanged or I was choked, but I survived, or something to do with the neck. And what that made me do is, in my case, it worked that I would always, I would be unable to speak whenever I really wanted to speak the truth, or something that, or speak up and support myself. I couldn't do that. But in some other cases, it could be swallowing, unable to swallow. And even drowning or dreaming of water, also, you are unable to swallow or unable to really breathe in. So drowning dreams it could be related to water, breath, or choking. Any of that could also be there.
Yes, thank you, Bhavna. Aswati, have you had any case like that of drowning, and how do you interpret it?
I have not come across anything personally, but I have heard cases where these kind of cases are cured. I have not come across it myself, like
Okay, okay,
patients.
thank you.
Yeah.
So I would like to mention that, yeah, in my last 10 years, of course, I've been doing treatments for people and helping people cure themselves since 15 years. but I had had more interactions with healers, therapists, psychic, people and shamans over the last 10 years. And two spaces, two conditions in which I've seen people talk about, drowning. One is like Bhavana mentioned, uh, you know, and these are serious traumas, right? So obviously, if the person is alive at this lifetime, they have not drowned in this lifetime, but they may have drowned, in a well or in the sea or fallen off the ship and all of that. So it remains as a subconscious trauma with the soul. And these people try all sorts of therapies and they go for counseling and all that, and it doesn't work, and their phobia still remains. But when they get into a experienced therapist with a regression, sessions, couple of regression sessions, which is just lying down, you're not completely hypnotized, but the therapist makes you relax deeper enough, and those suppressed, older memories, they start coming up, and they get looked at, and they get accepted and resolved. Then I've seen after 3, 4 such sessions, the persons, without any kind of other treatment, their fear completely goes away. And so that's one type. And the second type of drowning, dreams with drowning, I have noticed with people who feel like Srividhya mentioned at the younger ages when their sense of security and connection with life and their support system is getting built at that age when parents abandon children, or a house, somebody experienced losing a house, or there's nobody around them, so it's kind of like there's nobody to support me and I'm falling into a problem or a space. So this is the second type of trauma that I've seen, where some people have had these dreams when they didn't get supported when they were younger. So I will get into the next question, from Sharmila Sinkar. What is the difference between healing through past life regression and pranic healing? Specifically, does it work on migraines? Now, before giving it to the panel, I just want to mention for our audience, uh, this term past life regression is normally referring to previous to this lifetime. But when the regression therapists work on you, they usually work on you from today to yesterday, and they go back in time. And so, if there are any trauma that you experience in this lifetime, 2, 3 years, or 5 years, or 10 years, or during your childhood, that may also come up. So, the general term is regression therapy. That means you regress into earlier traumatic memories that are stored in your energy body. Okay, and it may turn out that a person has had no stress in this lifetime, so they just keep on going back in time, and they even see themselves at, they may, some people experience their birth process, and then there's a quiet zone, and after that something else comes up, which is the time before their birth. So opening this question again, yeah, through past life regression therapy or pranic healing, will it work for migraines? Has it ever worked for migraines? Any panelist?
Migraine actually worked on when you start, it works very fast when you start regressing. Migraine is a very, for PLR, migraine is a very simple issue. You can heal migraine within, I think, within the first or second session, it's all over.
And so that means a person would be getting the headache because of some trauma in life. And
It's more than a trauma. It's an emotional. I mean, it's a stuck energy in the emotional body. So when you can also work. I mean, when we do a regression, I work with a different therapy. I also go to the auric fields, and we clear it from there also. So migraine is. I mean, it can be worked very easily, and it has amazing results.
okay, thank you, Srividhya. Um, any of the other panelists would like to mention regression therapy or pranic healing? Was it?
Yeah, I'll just do a quick answer. So, like, I would agree with Srividhya. She said it beautifully because it's, migraine is very simple actually. Migraine, headaches, backaches. These are simple things actually where many people are not aware that it can actually go away within the first or the second session itself. So when I have worked with people, I have with different people based on, when I speak to them and do the consultation, yes, sometimes past life regression therapy works beautifully. And the reason I might do that, because I feel that there are some other issues related. So the person might have come for migraine, but if other things also get settled down, it's like a bonus for the patient, for the client. So that's always good. So be like Daryl mentioned, it could be womb healing as well. Sometimes it could be simple breath work and meditation breath work. They work again very, very beautifully. A permanent change that happens. It could be using the chakras or auric field, like Sreevidhya mentioned. I mean, there are multiple modalities. It's migraine is something that I feel that people should not suffer from this. And Daryl's book talks about the acupressure part of it, which is again you will feel a difference within. If you do it for 2-3 days, you'll feel a quick difference. So this is, please do any of these, and you'll immediately see a difference.
Thank you, Bhavna. Dr. Denise, I'm sure you would have had experience with migraines.
A lot of them. A lot of people come up with migraines, and again, it's healing through the energy blockage. I remember one of the cases of migraines which I had was she had this fear of men looking at her. So I worked on that fear level. So it was very beautifully like how the fears came up, right? I mean, she had a 5-year-old son who was afraid of looking at her, even, that was the intensity which she had, the fear of a boy or a man looking at her. Definitely not her husband, but other people. So I worked on the level of fear, definitely. And her migraines, I think she would not get even better with one paracetamol. So she would take, I think, 2 or 3 at a time. And that completely stopped. I think within a couple of months on working on her fears, that completely went away. Yes. So migraines can be related to anything. It can be even a fear related migraine or a dream related migraine. One of my patients had a dream where she saw her child drowning and she got a migraine headache, which turned. So I worked again on the fear, more going deeper to the dream. I got the fear factor coming up, which I worked upon, and it was just better with a single dose of the remedy. So yeah, dreams and fears play a big role in that as well.
Okay, wow, that is wonderful. So I wish I had met all of you wonderful healers when I was 12, 13, because I I was treated by homeopathy at that time, because my parents didn't want to do allopathy, and so it took me about 4 years of homeopathy treatment to get a 2-day migraine down to 1-day migraine. Okay. Yeah, so that continued for a long time, and only when I started changing my diet and all that, when I was uh, 30, kind of almost, yeah, 38. Okay, so from the age of like 18 to 38 for 20 years, I was living with, getting a migraine twice a month or thrice a month for 1 day. Then finally, I had once I changed my diet and made it, little more alkaline than acidic, and that's when my migraine went even lower, and it completely got eliminated in 2010 when I was 40 years old. After 1 month of daily doing a technique called Sun Yoga that's mentioned in my book. Okay, so that's looking at the sun for a certain amount of time, and that is a direct example, I think, of how energy, the sun energy itself can go get into your body and remove these blockages, and heal you. So I will go with the next question, which is is it a good idea, person's name is not there, is it a good idea to stay away from negative family members or stay with them and adjust?
This has to be answered at length, actually.
Okay.
The question itself is like, the person, whoever is asking this, wants to avoid the situation. So probably, an escapism. but mostly it would be like, he or she wants to change the scenario outside rather than changing the scenario within.
Okay, okay, that's very well put, and yeah, I think that's a wonderful focus, uh, because and just saying logistically also, when one person comes, that's one person, and the family members maybe four, five. So probably it's a good idea to work on one person first, and if there is any reorientation or for them to clear their mind, if they are the block, then definitely that needs to be worked on first. And so my next question is, if such a person, comes to you, and you can feel that, they are well balanced in their mind and they really have no such insecurities or fears, and it is your suspicion that maybe the home environment is like that, then what would be your advice?
See, actually, these kind of cases mainly I have diagnosed. Like probably, uh, there is a set of people who have this continuous pattern to blame the outside for the issues that they have inside. And once that is cleared, now when they realize that this is something deep within that they are fighting, they don't like. Normally, they don't like some part of theirs which keeps reflecting in their lifetime. And it happens, like I'll tell you, this is a very classic example. Like I had this case. This woman was like, she would like, this happened at when I was 10 years, this happened when I was 15, when I was 28, now she is 48. So every time it was, the characters would change, but the sequence, the situations, and the script would be same. So the day I started working with her on the inner conflict, um, the whole the whole scenario outside in her field changed, because she would attract the similar kind of issues, the similar kind of relationships. So this is actually, it has to be healed from the inner, not the outer. And it's just a blame game. It's completely a blame game.
Okay, Srividya, thank you so much for that insight. uh, any other panelists would like to mention something further on it? If not, then I'll go on to the next question. How is fear of flying cured? I'm sure it's a problem that all people who are traveling on work or pleasure, they want addressed. Okay, so how is fear of flying cured?
So I'll just maybe give a quick answer. Again, similar to, so all fears and phobias actually have usually the same root. It is likely it could be a past trauma, maybe from your current maybe childhood on when you were a baby, or it could be past life trauma as well, which is stored in the subconscious. So it's basically removing that block and that removing that trauma and really understanding what happened. So it can be done like the way that I've worked with somebody. It was fear of heights, not, I don't think there's anybody come for flying, but again, flying is very simple. 1 or 2 sessions are enough to get it. So it could be past life regression therapy, it could be age regression therapy, it could be EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, just tapping, very simple technique. It is scientifically proven as well. You could also use, of course, there is energy, working with the energy medicine also. One can use it. And so yeah, so there are different techniques. It's very simple to get it cured or let it out.
Okay, thank you, Bhavna. And what you mentioned, EFT and tapping, yes, I've seen results with that since over 10 years. I did a little bit for myself and for, two, three of my clients. Um, so it's a very good technique for eliminating fears, phobias, inhibitions. Um, so yeah, anybody who would like to understand more of that can get in touch with Bhavna. You do that for people, right? EFT, it can be done remotely also on the phone. Yes.
Yes, it's very, very effective. I've seen amazing results. It's so simple, but it's phenomenal.
any other panelists wants to talk about that? Any remedy for fear of flying?
EFT is the fastest way to get out of this fear, because it's all about emotion. Like EFT is an emotional freedom technique. So when you free that emotion, probably there's a lot of change that you start seeing within. I think Bhavna said it very right. Within 2 or 3 sessions, it's out.
So yes, thank you, Sreevidhya. And for our audience, it's most commonly known as EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and there's some variations which call it Emotional Empowerment Technique, and there's also TAT, which is called Tapas Acupressure Technique. Okay. So now I would like to ask the next question from Dr. Vasudha Kothari. It's to Dr. Aswathy. Do you recommend food sensitivity tests for gastrointestinal problems? I live in Toronto.
Yeah. So food sensitivity test. Usually sensitivities are caused by when there is a increased IgG level in your blood. So you can do a panel of IgG to find out whether you have food sensitivities. So there's a long list of so many food like veg and non-veg. So, and if it is just IgG, it can be cured like in 3 months. By avoiding it also, you can, if it is IgG. But if it is IgE, then we have to do treatment and reduce IgE. Yeah.
Ashwati, because I've heard you mention, sometime before that this technique, NAT technique, there are practitioners across the globe. So,
Yes.
so since Dr. Vasudha stays in Toronto,
Yeah.
would there be any scope of giving us some details later with, I know Dr. Vasudha personally, so is there some way she could, get contact
Yes.
over there?
Yes, there are NAT practitioners in Canada. So what you have to do is you have to go to their website, www.naet.com. Then there is practitioner locator. So you can just give the place where you're staying and you will get the details of the practitioner there.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Next question is from Sanam Mirpura. She says, I have a shoulder twitch for 20 years, 20 plus years, which aggravates when I am stressed, but it exists most of the time. So it seems it's there all the time, but it gets worse when she gets stressed. A shoulder twitch. Would any panelist like to interpret what that is and how it can be treated?
Darrell, you can treat this.
Will you please tell me which technique I should use?
Acupressure, right?
Yes. So
It is,
acupressure is one technique, of
yes,
course.
acupressure works very beautifully on this because, I think I have read this, you have spoken about this somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember.
Now, I happen to know Sanam Mirpuri. She stays in Pune, and she's been a friend for quite some years. And I know that she knows acupressure herself. So I'm sure she would have pressed all the points possible, and it wouldn't have worked for her. So besides acupressure, any of the panelists, do you have any, uh, you know, okay, since we're talking about energy medicine, I would like to hear any panelists' interpretation of what this shoulder twitch could be. Could it be something emotional?
Sure. So the shoulder twitch, yes, what I sense is it is likely that and this is it. I'm just giving you different examples, to the I didn't see who asked it, but different possibilities that could be there. It could be that there was a lot of not necessarily in this lifetime or maybe as a child. So if it is from this lifetime, when you were younger, if you, for example, if you have a relatively large family, now it doesn't have to be your immediate family, but somebody might be staying with their extended family. If there was always a talk about responsibility and how one should be responsible and how one should really be able to be do the right thing and always practice the right way and be a good citizen, be a good person, and a lot of rules, essentially a lot of rules and proper way of doing things. It could be that and somebody, it could be, you are interpreting it in a certain way because it is activating some trauma. So it may not necessarily only be from this lifetime, unless it was a major major part of growing up. And now again, this could most likely, you may not remember it. It would be before the age of 3 years as well, because babies have memories even when they are, in the embryo form. So it doesn't matter. So even if you were in the embryo form and there was a lot of responsibility or money issues, essentially, I see that it could be money issues also, and some sort of somebody not wanting so much of pressure. It could also be somebody's trying to tap on your shoulder and trying to tell you that you have to do this, you have to do this. And that kind of has, your brain has interpreted as that, that something is, I have to do something, but I don't want to do it because you don't feel that it is, you just don't want to do it for your own reasons. So it is coming out as a physical symptom. So we have to look at how it might be related, going into basically a theta stage of the brain wave, and activating or reviving some memory, and it can be looked at. And that's a very quick, like 2-minute check.
Thank you, Bhavna. If I can move on to the next question, it is from Snigdha Joshi. He says some therapists have a vibration machine on which one can stand and the whole body vibrates. Is it good to use? Okay, since none of the panelists are taking it, I have had some experience because I work in acupressure. And when you go to these acupressure, dealers and shops, they definitely have this machine. It's about like 8 inches in height, and yes, you put on an electrical switch over there, and it starts vibrating. Uh, Now, in acupressure, I don't advise people to even use those, acupressure chappals with all those points, because you are not supposed to be standing on those points for a long, long time, like, 3, 4 hours. In fact, even I bought those acupressure chappals, 15 years back, and I was walking around with them. In 2, 3 months, I used to feel heat in my feet. So I've written about this in my book on, it's got a chapter on acupressure. I don't want to give the explanation now in detail, but it's explained there. And it is the body system, the central nervous system. When you're standing up, it actually cuts off feedback, nervous system feedback upward to your body, because your entire body weight is on your feet. You try standing on both of your hands, and in 1 minute you'll see the kind of pressure and tension that comes in your hands. Okay, so that's not a normal thing for you to do. So the body central nervous system doesn't cut feedback. So the thing is, that's why reflexologists, they do acupressure when you're lying down, because there's no body weight on your feet, and then your body system, the nervous system, is open to take, the energy. So when you're pressing the points on the feet, when you're lying down, that energy goes through. But if you stand up and your entire body weight is there, body cuts off the feedback. So that is not good. Now the benefit that comes from that machine, okay, there is a benefit. There's half a benefit, and that half of the benefit is when you stand and you vibrate. And I've been on those machines. I've tried 5, 6 of them. And if you just relax, you will find the vibration come entire through your body and even up to here. Okay, you can feel your brain also, light vibration, and they can take up the volume. So I always tell them, stop it at this level. So that kind of vibration, what does it do? It's not doing any great acupressure service, but it is kind of, vibrating the molecules of your body. So your blood system, your lymphatic system, and all is getting a very gentle massage, and actually toxins physically start getting dislodged. Okay, so if you have a session of like that for 10, 15 minutes, and you have toxicity in your blood and lymphatic system, you may actually see your urination for the rest of the day may change a little color. Okay, so that will show proof. So bottom line is, my answer is, it's not good for acupressure as such. If you want foot acupressure, get it from a foot reflexologist lying down, or do it on your hands. But for vibrational treatment and toxins dislodging, and generally for a good, feeling, you can use that machine. Okay. Uh, the next question is, does past life regression work for fibromyalgia? We took that up earlier, fibromyalgia, and I don't think, is there any connection between fibromyalgia and trauma, current life or past life?
I have seen, yes, there is a possibility. Is it true for everybody? No, no, not necessarily, but there is a possibility, yes.
Okay, Bhavna asked this question to me. Daryl, could you help with fibromyalgia virtually with online consults? Um, Now it's been almost a year that I'm not doing, one-to-one consultations because of a lot of workload, and my work has shifted from personal consultations to doing events, working out platforms, and also working in organic farming environment and self-empowerment. Uh, so what I've done is I have an online workshop for those people who really want to go to it. Uh, and I'll get in touch with you later. Or Bhavna, just go to my website, okay, daryldesouza.com, and you will find my health website and you'll get access to my workshop. Reason I'm giving you this is yes, because fibromyalgia patients have definitely benefited from that workshop, seen results, okay, within 1 to 3 months. Now, okay, so very interesting question from Sophie Sequeira. When undertaking or undergoing past life regression, how does one know that one is experiencing a past life and not just an active imagination? And has it ever happened when it actually ended up being the client's imagination? How would you deal with a session like that? Yes, Sreevidhya, please.
Be it imagination or be it past life. But once, if the person is regressed to that space and when the past life regression happens, the belief system, be it whatever, if it's this life or that life, once it is released, the whole issue is resolved. Let it be a figment of the brain, or let it be your imagination, or let it be the past life. I mean, it it works. I have had cases where the person would not believe in this, and but his wife wanted to get this thing done. He said, "Nahin, ye meri imagination hai. Maybe I was watching a movie, whatever." I said, "Fine, let's imagine that you're watching a movie. Go ahead." But today, their relationship is more than bliss.
Wonderful, wonderful to see that result. And any other therapists who do regression and would like to comment on this? Okay. If not, then I will share a little bit of my own experience. With I went for my first, I heard about, past lives and past life regression. I went to a workshop and they had put us in that state, and there were about, I think, 25 people in a hall, nice and cool. And so, and this was at Dr. Newton Condoveti's, workshop. He's quite famous in India and overseas too. And so I was very nice, relaxed, and for most of the part, I felt that maybe I'm imagining things, and I think that's. But sometimes it went a little bit deep. Okay, and so then I realized something, and over the last 10 years, I've seen through so many, cases, and being in in the room where regression, where very deep regression has happened, I have seen many cases of that, and phenomenal information of. Past life traumas and certain things happen, and some cases were even verified. They went into the history records and old newspapers, and they could see that a person, somebody's hand was cut off or somebody was beheaded. So I have seen a lot of evidence of that. um, but I think the first block to getting into that deep state, to understand, pick up the older memories, is relaxation. A person like me who's very scientific and you're thinking all the time, antennas up all the time, like, okay, hey, what's happening? From where's that thought and all? So that is definitely not going to help you, get into that space. So Sri Vidya, would it be that a calm state of mind and a relaxed state without any preconceived notions and too much of opinion of what it should be and what it should not be.
Uh,
Uh,
when a person comes into PLR, they come with a lot of fear. Okay, because it's a lot of stories that they've heard. Like one person was like, "Would I not come back from that era?" I don't know where they pick up these kind of stories from, because you cannot stay in any other time. It only happens in movies. You can't stay there. You have to come back in present, because this is your in. I mean, this moment is infinite. You need to be here. So people come with all these notions, and they have the fear. And there are some people who have this very wonderful thought that PLR say, how can I get this healed? And this is just a mm, way of trying to figure out something which is not present. They come with such notions. That is the reason, first, exactly said, we need to bring them in a space of non-judgment. When they come into a non-judgment state, whatever therapy you do at that point of time, the healing starts happening.
okay,
I
okay.
just want
Thank
to
you,
add,
Srividya.
just if I could quickly add something, and Srividhya, and you have shared it very beautifully. And this is such a common question. It is such a common question. I want to say that when you go, so you're in the theta state, and that's a brainwave state. Any of you can look it up. I'm sure all of the panelists are aware of it. So when you are in that deep relaxation but not sleep state, what you're seeing is so vivid. You can literally see all the colors. If I ask you, is it red, you'll say no, it is bright red, it is maroon, or it is light red. You will correct me. And the jewelry, for example, if it's a woman, the jewelry that you're wearing, the dress that you're wearing, the patterns on the dress, and it's literally as if you're living it. If it is your imagination, if I ask you to just imagine an elephant, you will not tell me how the elephant is looking. You'll say, oh, it's an elephant. You will not tell me if it's an African elephant, Indian elephant, is it dark gray, is it light gray, does it have a baby elephant? You will not tell me any of that. But if it is past life regression therapy coming from a memory, it'll be very vivid. The second thing is that when you go into that state, the way that you're able to connect, I cannot put in that input for you. It is only your own thing. And the phenomenal release that you experience, you will know. And all of us actually look at our past lives. Anybody who has been meditating for regularly for even 3 months has accessed the past life. Anybody who has reached the theta stage in sleep has accessed the past life. It's just that you don't remember it. When we daydream, suddenly we'll have this scene as if we are almost in it. You have accessed a past life. You may not have done it completely, but you have touched and come back. So it's very normal.
Yeah, Bhavna, I would second that. Like there was this case, and the whole room was quite chill. And when we were asking this person, like, what is the temperature? The person was literally perspiring. I mean, it was like we had to create. I mean, we had to get this AC like almost in us in such a level that we were shivering, and this person is still perspiring. So it cannot be an imagination. It's this is just floating thoughts. People who just want to negate something, they can come up with such ideas.
Right. Thank you, Srividya, for that. And I would like to mention, something to the audience that a lot of people, have an opinion of whether past life regression is right or not. And I think the only people who have had the experience and seen the evidence, they can say, you see, whether it's real or not. For those people who have not got to that relaxed state and not had the experience, it's just it's an opinion. It doesn't come from experience. So, yeah. So now, I would like to, there's a question from Sai. How can we heal over mind, body, and spirit at home? So it's a simple line, but it's a very big question. So what I would like to put to the panelists is, uh, you know, your top three things or habits or frame of mind that a person can use to have healing of mind, body, and spirit in their home. Each panelist, I would like you to address it. this question. Dr. Denise?
Okay, I think the first virtue or the attitude which we need to develop is that of resilience. I think being adaptable to change at all times.
Oh,
This really, I feel, brings peace of heart, because a lot of times when we cannot adjust to what is happening on the outside because of our own thoughts, there is this whole disconnect between the mind and body, which is when it throws up symptoms. So definitely it is to develop that attitude of resilience. Of course, there's a whole big way how you develop that, but one is resilience, one is mindfulness. So you totally be in the moment when you are doing any practices for that matter. I'm not talking about big practice, but I remember reading in Thich Nhat Hanh's book, The Miracle of Mindfulness. He says even when you're washing the dishes, so even when you're washing the dishes, you're just washing the dishes and not thinking about anything else. So be it your work, be it time with your family. And today what happens is that when people are having dinner, there's always Netflix on, there's always, you know, there is no mindful eating even. So resilience, mindfulness, and definitely for, as a whole integrative aspect to it, following a good regime for your body, because if you don't take care of it, who else will? So you eat the right kind of food, and that's what comes through awareness. That shift in energy when you are from an unaware state to coming to an aware state of making the right choices for yourself. That's what I would give.
thank you. Thank you, Dr. Denise. Bhavna, what would be your uh, three, top advices for healing of mind, body, and spirit at home?
Yeah, I think I agree. It's a very 5 or 7 word question, but it's very deep. I have just two things. Even if you don't, no matter how you are, personality wise, scientific, whatever, if you just do two things, one is meditation, second is pranayam, and you do that starting from 10 minutes a day, building 10 minutes for each, and building up to half an hour or 1 hour, half an hour pranayam and 1 hour meditation. If you can build it up and you do it for 6 months, and all, the third thing that kind of comes in is, it'll naturally happen, but I just want to add is, if and you listen to what you are prompted while you are in meditative state and you're in pranayam. If you're prompted to do something and you do that, you will see, you will have a change in diet, you will automatically become in fact vegetarian and vegan finally, because that is the natural state. I don't want to get into that, but it'll be naturally, it'll happen. You will stop meeting people who drain your energy. You will come across people who have a higher vibration, higher energy. Everything will change. So even if you don't want to do anything else, if you just do this, and then of course you will reach out to people who can help you more, guide you, but just even these two things, you will see a huge change.
Thank you, Bhavna. Yes, I see some very deep, insight in that advice. And what is probably happening for people is through the pranayam and the meditation, they are accessing a more silent but more watchful and wiser self of their own consciousness. And modern people are used to so much of what we call noise outside that they don't they never get to access the inner teacher. And so the technique that you've given is connecting the person to their deeper, more silent, observant wisdom that will start telling them a few things. So that's so beautiful. Thank you. Sreevidhya, what would you like to
I
say?
have not at all actually. I would just advise that if possible, just the first thing, I mean, when you get up in the morning, if you can just be with yourself for minimum 24 minutes, if it's possible. Start with 12 minutes and increase it to 24 minutes before doing anything. If you can just allow yourself to be with yourself, that's the most positive state of mind that you're in when you just woken up, because a lot of astral travel has happened and a lot of things have happened. So there are a lot of things that you can assimilate. Just be with yourself at that moment of time, 24 minutes. Possibly 24 minutes works magic, because there's a different science. We'll talk about that sometime other later. So 24 minutes when you're sitting in silence, allowing the thoughts to just come and pass by, not focusing on anything. Meditation is not to focus. Meditation is to just be. If you can just be in that space, no need to, get on to that vasan and all that thing. Just be, even in your bed. If you can just sit with your spine straight so that the energy can flow, and trust me, it works magic. So it sums it all. There's a lot of things that happen. Your body gets aligned, your mind gets aligned, and you're directly in connection with the source.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you for that insight. Aswathy, what would be your advice from your system of treatment for somebody who wants, mind, body, spirit healing at home?
Yes. I would personally suggest you to practice three things for peace of mind. First thing is letting go. Second thing is and gratitude. If we can practice this in a day-to-day life, then we can be at a peace of mind. That's what I personally suggest. Letting go, forgiveness, and gratitude.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that. And so we are just 2 minutes left to go. And if I can slip in a quick question from Rajiv Kapoor. Yeah, this is a tough one, but maybe a short answer if anybody has had experience with it. Is there any cure for Candida Adacia in the esophagus? It is constricted and swallowing becomes difficult. Any panelists?
That would be cardiac-aplasia, I believe. So personally, I have not dealt with any case. Nothing has come to me as such.
You're
But
right. You're right, Dr. Denise. It is
yeah,
cardia, not Candida. It's cardia.
cardiac-aplasia. So basically, again, symptomatically, if we find out the root cause for it, definitely it can be healed, and symptomatically the patient can feel better. Coming to whether a complete cure is there, I cannot speak for it since I have not personally treated such cases. But definitely, the control of whatever symptoms come up because of it, like a continuous reflux or burning, that will definitely be taken care of, including that choking feeling, which is common with the issue.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Denise.
Welcome.
Any other panelists who would like to mention something about it? And a very simple thing. Uh, you can, Rajiv, you can download my book if you don't have it from my website, becomehealthierextinct.com, and go to the acupressure section. You will see there are points for the throat over here. Okay. And there is an acupressure ring. So you can press, the points around here, around your thumb, or do that acupressure ring here. Also press the throat point here. There's also over here, thyroid and parathyroid. You can press that entire region. Okay, the technique is explained over there. And also there is in the middle finger here, in this area, you can roll that ring. It's a metal flexible ring. It's somewhere on my desk. Yeah, you can roll it over here also on both the fingers. So try that, and definitely there will be physical relief, but I cannot guarantee you that it will go away forever. If there is some constant presence of some toxin or some emotional buildup that's got to do with your sense of, communication, or not being allowed to speak or give your opinion on things, I've seen people get choked from that. Okay, but definitely through acupressure there'll be relief in pain. Uh, yeah. So that's the last question, yeah, that we have taken today. I am thankful to all our panelists, Dr. Denise, Bhavana, Dr. Aswathy, and Sreevidhya. Thank you so much for coming online, being part of this webinar and part of the New Earth Summit, where we are doing our best to give people all across the world solutions to their problems in health, food, farming, and environment. And health, of course, mind, body, spirit, wellness. Thank you, and God bless.